Hi, I would like to fully break down the dual stubs. Let's start with how you should optimally build them. Before we start, I'd just like to say that yes, this weapon definitely is a little weaker than it should be. It's kind of underperforming, but I also think it's a bit overblown. I think there's two things you should always take with this weapon that will massively increase its performance. So let's start with how you should optimally build them to avoid those pitfalls. You should always take flak armor, because even with that, this weapon can still struggle against flak gunners, especially in Havoc 40, and maniac damage is just to get consistent one-shots against, well, all the specials. Though I suppose you could drop this for unyielding if you're a bit of a freak. Now, as far as blessings go, I think running gun should always be taken on these. You absolutely need that 30% spread reduction at all times to make this weapon sort of viable. I think so many of the issues people run into come from not using running gun. Now, I think this should just be built into the weapon like it is for the Uzis, but hey, I didn't make it, so. Desperado is the second best blessing purely because this gets you to like 85% crit chance, which this weapon desperately needs to get crits. This weapon is actually kind of okay with running gun's accuracy on top of 85% crit chance. If you're hitting headshots that crit, you do one-shot most things. And running gun helps you hit, and Desperado helps you crit. Now, let's talk about this with some live demonstrations. So, here's without running gun, and this is what the issue most people are running into. Let's say there's a gunner about 30 meters away. This is not entirely unreasonable. And you try to, walk it down. Yeah. That... let me try that one more time. I don't think that's entirely representative of what it's like. Holy shit, never mind, I was fucking wrong. Okay, shows you how long it's been since I've not used running gun on these. Okay, now let's throw running gun on, and you can see what a difference this makes for yourself. So we go 30 meters back, and it's not great, but we hit way, way more shots. This also enables us to sprint while doing this, which closes the gap, which lets us get a lot more damage in. So, even just from, like, this far back, unbraced, we're still getting, like, more DPS overall on these guys. And running gun will, enable us to shoot. Basically, it just extends your range by about 30% because of the spread reduction. Now, as far as the alt fire goes, don't even bother. As you saw right there, you can't even one-shot with the alt fire if you don't get a critical headshot. So, if you're from a distance, and this is really the catch-22 with these weapons. If you're at a distance where this is actually useful, you're still leaving yourself at the mercy of getting the crit. Because look, that was a body shot, and it did fucking nothing. That was a body shot crit. It also did nothing. So you need to hit the head, and you need to critically hit the head for it to kill like that. But good luck doing that in an actual game. I find it to be so difficult, it's just not worth doing. Especially when I could just, run and gun them down for the same DPS. Now, let's talk about Maniacs and Vulture's Mark for a second. Well, Vulture's Mark, that's what it's called. I keep calling it Vulture's Dodge, sorry. So if you critically hit, you one-shot these guys. Unfortunately, you don't kill these guys without a critical hit, which is so unfortunate. That's a ridiculously unfortunate breakpoint. And talking about more ridiculously unfortunate breakpoints while we're still on the topic of the alt fire. So, if you don't crit, your body shot will not kill a fucking sniper, which I feel like is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And that this was without running gun, by the way. You can see I have pinning fire on. And, this is terrible. Fat Shark, please, for the love of God, at least make this one tap a sniper always to the body. If I'm committing to the alt fire for the accuracy to counter snipe, just make sure it always counter snipes. I don't need to try to hit a headshot from like 50 meters away. That's ridiculous. Especially without a sight. And another big problem, and this is what I mentioned about flak armor. Yeah, I fucking give up. This is with the sweet spot, by the way. So we've got flak damage on, sweet spot, Vulture's Mark, and we did our little twirly shit and got a critical headshot point blank, and we still can't even kill a flak rager. Now, in case you're wondering, if you instead choose to not even bother with that stupid spinny shit, you can just absolutely demolish them doing more DPS anyways. So, yeah. This is only good if you're trying to counter-snipe something. Holy shit, live example of it not killing a sniper. And it's only good if you can headshot. But at the distance where you'd be inclined to use this, well, unless you're fighting something standing still, good luck, actually just like near. Good luck actually trying to make use of this. And this is the next problem. On Havoc 40, this gun is really terrible at dealing with enemy gunners. So as you can see, even from 20 meters away, if we crouch and shoot, we get the 1700 DPS, but we're still dependent on crits. If you miss even one shot like that, your DPS goes through the floor. It's just not, you know, if you miss like one set of shots, you're looking at much lower damage. This weapon does okay in the psych, but in actual gameplay, it's pretty awful. And the other issue here is if you body shot, it's still going to take you like 5-7 shots to kill these guys. Well, unless every fucking hit crits almost. And it's just very ammo inefficient. So that leaves this weapon in a very weird place where if you really wanted to kill specialists and snipers and like elites, just like do this. Oh, there you go. Oh, wow, look at that. Just like boom, 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 boom. Like, here you go. Now you, with the needle gun, one taps literally like everything to the body and is perfectly accurate. The revolver also effectively does the same thing. Like, as long as the revolver crits... Okay, well, that's a fucking 1 in a million chance right there. Hold on. There you go. Anyway, as long as the revolver crits, you're looking at, like, basically a guaranteed kill on just about everything. It's also perfectly accurate. So if your concern was killing gunners and specialists, why the hell wouldn't you just use the revolver? You never run out of ammo with pickpocket anyway. So the revolver and the needle gun are objectively better at sniping specialists. Hell, you could argue that the infantry auto gun with its accuracy is also better at sniping gunners. So it's a mediocre anti-gunner weapon. It's a mediocre anti-specialist weapon because the most critical specialists require multiple shots to kill. It's okay at dealing with armor, I guess, but it's no better or worse than the Uzis or SMGs. And in case you're wondering, its boss damage is absolutely abysmal glorp shit, dude. I mean, look at this. The IAG, by the way, kills this in the same times frame. So it does like mediocre as hell single target DPS against chunky targets. It has mediocre accuracy. It requires critical headshots to get anything done. So it requires more aim than just about every other weapon in the game. To do the same or less DPS, it's worse at killing bosses than just about every other weapon the scum has access to. John Woo, more like John Poo. And can I just make one suggestion, please? For the love of God, can you just let us run and reload and run and shoot with these at the same time? I mean, for God's sakes, the reload is basically us just twirling the guns and slamming it into, like, speed load holsters on our belt, I assume. Because I don't know how else you would get these in the gun if you're not, you know, you're not actually putting ammo in the gun. You're just, like, slamming it onto a holster. So why can't we do this while reloading? Seriously, just bake run and gun into this weapon so that you're this accurate and shooting on the move. And just let us reload while sprinting this. That way it would be even more mobile. You would fix so many of this weapon's problems. It would be more mobile than the auto pistols at the cost of being even less DPS, but it would be more accurate DPS. So it would be a better sniper because it wouldn't cost you mobility to do that sniping. As it stands right now, why the fuck would you take the stub pistols when you could just, you know, do this without a blessing? And look, it's like the same DPS anyway. And if we added run and gun to this, it would be even more DPS. The fact that this weapon is comparable with and without... Here, let me just add run and gun real quick, just to show you I'm not bullshitting you. You can drop pinning fire, add run and gun, and now check this shit out. So, like, what the fuck? You know, if you care about accuracy, this... You're gonna have to use run and gun anyway on the dual pistols, so this ends up being... literally just like better in pretty much every way. And I think the IAG is an upgrade to these. So it's like the IAG basically does everything these do, but slightly better. And these do everything the pistol does, but noticeably better. So that leaves the pistol pretty damn low on the priority, you know, the list of priority. Yeah, I really just don't have much else to say. The pistols just don't fill any niche. They do pierce, like, one guy in a crowd, but the thing is, I mean, you can just look at this horde clear, and it's like, that's great, sweetheart, but you know, that's great. That's wonderful, sweetheart. Now, what are the dual SMGs doing? Oh, they're just fucking eviscerating the horde like 3 times faster. So they're like, at best, C tier boss damage, B tier horde clear, and like B tier elite and specialist snipers. Meanwhile, you have the infantry auto gun that's like S tier boss damage, S tier horde clear, S tier elite sniping, auto pistols, which are like S tier mobility, S tier DPS, S tier horde clear, and like B or A tier elite specialist killing, depending on if you use running gun or not. And then the needle pistol is like A+ tier at everything. So it's like, why would you even bother with the dual stubs? And it's such a shame because they're so cool. Now, final disclaimer that I really need to start putting at the start of the video. Literally none of this shit matters if you play Auric. Do whatever the hell you want. You literally won't notice a difference. Honestly, if you're like an Auric only Andy, you probably think these are really, really strong guns. Hell, I thought they were pretty strong the first couple days I was playing the class only in Auric as well. Then I tried to take these into Havoc 40 and I was like, holy shit, these things suck. Yeah. Oh, another thing to keep in mind, by the way, look at the reload on this. Fat Shark. Considering all the downsides that those have, that the SMGs don't have to deal with, why do they, like, also reload at the same speed or faster? I just don't understand that. If you don't proc the speed loader talent, there's basically, like, it's bleak, give up. Step 1, try not to cry. Step 2, roll down and cry a lot. Yeah, I don't have much else to say about these. Very, very disappointing weapon. By the way, I'm harsh on these, more harsh on these than I am for any other weapon, because I really fucking wanted the Payday 2 style dual pistols to be like the DPS god guns, that as long as you could just aim, they were like sick, nasty, insano, sicko mode DPS. And they ended up being way below the expectations I set for them. Which, to be fair, that's on me. That's not really the gun's fault, but it does, just know, it does massively bias me against them.